Hey everybody, it's Velocity here from Project Velocity. Now, as I'm sure everybody and their mum heard about the new Xbox yesterday, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over the good things and the bad things from the event yesterday and the Xbox itself. As I'm sure most of you know by now, the new Xbox name is Xbox One. Now, no, not Xbox as in the number 1, but ONE1, which could be the most stupid name since Nintendo Wii. So yeah, it wasn't. The funny thing is it wasn't one of the rumored names. It was a 720 Infinity or anything like that. But honestly, I just don't think they could have thought of a worse name. It sounds like the first Xbox, the original Xbox. When I think of Xbox One, I just think of the original box that we had. So yeah, kind of confused on that. So here is the actual Xbox One. Now, some say it looks like a VCR, and I can't exactly deny that it doesn't. But I actually think the console actually does look quite good. It does have that kind of like 90s box kind of look to it, but it's kind of sleek at the same time. So I'm not unimpressed by it. I was a bit worried, you know. Ultimately, the look of a console doesn't really mean much, but we all kind of care, stupidly. But yeah, anyway, I actually think it doesn't look half bad. I think it does look a step up from the Xbox redesign that we've currently got. It could do with maybe a bit more shape into it, but that's about it. In regards to the controller, they have actually made quite a few changes whilst keeping that sort of overall Xbox controller design. The main ones are probably that the D-pad is better. It now actually is a cross. Apparently, from what I've read, it seems to be less spongy and it seems to be more clickable, which is nice. The other things are that the battery pack on the back is now flat, like the wired controllers we used to see, so there's no that big bump sticking out of the back. One of the things I was kind of surprised by is that the Xbox guide button isn't in the middle anymore. It is right at the top of the console, which looked kind of harder to reach, but at least it is still there. There are two buttons now in the middle, new, instead of the back and start button that we saw on the 360. It hasn't really been confirmed what they're about. I would imagine it was for multitasking, you know, bringing up, like we saw on the reveal, Explorer and dashboard and stuff like that, and probably something else, but we don't know too much about it. Overall, it looks pretty nice. The other thing is that the triggers are fatter, which I'm not too sure about. I kind of like how that they were slimmer. But apart from that, the controller does look really nice. They've made the noticeable improvements that I hope they would. When it comes to games, we got a lot of sports. And more friggin' sports. God damn you, EA, and your sports. But apart from that, we had Forza 5, which, yeah, great. There's always a racing game on the new console. And of course, we got Call of Duty Ghost, which we had the usual, you know, trailer. Great and all, but we didn't really see too much. And then we had, they showed off Modern Warfare 3 and like, hey, look how shit the dogs looked in this game. And now look how fucking amazing they look in the new game. You know? That was interesting. But in all seriousness, they did say they weren't going to show many games off today, apart from, you know, the main, you know, FIFA and the Call of Duty stuff. So we'll see. I believe they said they have 15 exclusives by the end of this year, which we'll see. Obviously, a lot of them at E3. So I'm not too worried about that, but I just thought it was. I don't think it was the best of moves to show off all the really generic sort of sport games when you're showing off the new consoles. But there you go. The dashboard looks pretty similar to what we had on 360. It is tidied up, it does look a bit better, but it still has that very Windows 8 feel, which we kind of guessed they would have. The main thing I noticed was the speed of it. I'm not sure how reliable, you know, the demos are, but I did think that it was much faster. I noticed the 360, it takes a lot longer to load up different things, where it was very instant on the Xbox One. The other thing was as well where you could have multiple things up on the screen, so you could have Internet Explorer on one side and have a video up on the left, or Skype or whatever it is, which is a nice touch. Nothing revolutionary, but it is nice to have, and I think probably I will use it. The main problem I have, which is not directly connected to the dashboard, is the TV aspect they kept pushing. I mean, they must have spent like half the conference talking about the friggin' TV stuff, and the fact is, I think that was utter bullshit. I have a TV and a Skybox to watch TV on. I don't need to watch TV on my Xbox. I don't know what their fascination with that is. But if they want to own, they say they want to own your living room, but they ain't going to own my wallet if they're going to pull stuff like that. And I just hope they've got the games now at E3 to make up for all the TV stuff that they've been pushing yesterday. Specification wise, the Xbox One is pretty much what we expected and pretty much what was rumored. It's got, you know, your Blu-ray drive, your USB 3.0 and your HDMI in and out and all that kind of stuff. The main things we're not sure about yet is the fact if it's 8GB of GDDR5 or if it's 8GB DDR3. The PS4 has 8GB of GDDR5 5, and there is quite a difference between the two, so we're not 100% sure yet. The main thing I have a problem with though is the hard drive, which is 500 gigabytes, which is actually a lot more than the previous Xbox, which had 320 at max. But the problem is that next gen is going to take up a lot more memory when you're downloading games and DLC. Now, the biggest problem is that you can't actually remove the hard drive yourself, they've said. So, whereas before on the Xbox you could just replace a hard drive and then you buy a new, bigger one. So, how that's going to work I don't know, because if you fill that out quite quickly, downloading games digitally, and after a couple of years, I know they're going to come out with probably new Xbox with probably maybe a few terabytes in a few years or something. But if you want that model, does that mean you just got to replace your Xbox with a new one, or does it mean you can send it off and they'll replace it if you can't do it yourself? That's probably the biggest problem I see. But hopefully it won't be too bad. The final point I'm going to cover is on Always Online, and we still don't have a concrete answer. Now, there's been a lot of sort of mixed messages that one moment we thought no, there doesn't need Always Online, and now we're hearing that it may need to be registered online once every 24 hours. Now, I don't really understand this at all. I don't know what that means. So they did say with single player game stuff it won't need to be, but it still does need to be registered. It still does need to go online to their servers every 24 hours. So I don't understand. What's that mean? If you go on holiday for a week and your Xbox can't do that, it's just going to self-explode or what? I have no idea. Hopefully we'll hear more information on it. So it kind of sounds like the Always Online thing is partly true, which, okay, not the worst circumstance that if you play a game without online it just won't work, but still not great to hear. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry I couldn't cover every aspect of the event. I mean, it was a long event and there's a lot to cover, but I'll be talking more about the console as time goes on, especially E3. I'll be going into a lot more detail on what we hear then. So thanks for watching again, and let me know, what did you think of the event? Has this swayed your decision on what console you're going to get next generation? Is it PS4 or the Xbox One? Let me know.